Apple is finally going to destroy Android. Or the iPhone 18 could be a major flop. Could go either way right now. All of the new leaks say that Apple is going all in on this all-new strategy for the 2026 iPhone lineup. They've got new colors, they've got new designs, they've got some wild new features, but also Apple is going a little risky with the pricing, and also they might be removing some features. Let me try to break down what all this means for you, all of the bad news with the iPhone 18, and hopefully some good news thrown in there too, and also give a big thanks to Superhuman Mail for sponsoring this video. Okay, so there is a whole lot obviously going on in the Apple world right now. We've got a lot of leadership changes. Tim Cook is out, John Ternus is in. We've got an event happening in just a couple of weeks, WWDC 2026, and the rumors are wild right now with what we will see and what we won't see, and especially how this year's iOS update is going to be interesting when it comes to what will be coming to the iPhone. Basically, long story short, liquid glass, love it or hate it, is going to remain basically exactly the same. While most of the changes will be kind of behind the scenes or under the hood, with obviously the usual bug fixes, improvements, speed enhancements, battery improvements and efficiencies, things like that, with really only two major app updates. One is that there is apparently some new AI photo editing mode in the Photos app, or maybe tied into the Camera app, so you can have like one-touch solutions to enhance your photos and make them look better, which maybe could be cool, which all kind of depends on Apple Intelligence. And kind of the second big new feature, which is all about a brand new Siri, that basically Apple has decided that for the third time now they're going all in on Apple Intelligence. They have apparently cracked the code, they're gonna do everything well, and this time, instead of Siri being like this non-tangible being, like a spirit that lives in your phone, it's now going to have its own dedicated app. So there'll be an actual Siri app where you can interact with it, kind of like you would Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini. And then also there's going to be some special dynamic island stuff for Siri as well. So hopefully Siri shouldn't just be smarter, and finally like the on-screen context and all of those things will work, but also you'll have an easier way to communicate with it. And then we're also hearing that you should be able to actually swap out the brain for Siri with what you want. We've heard that kind of at the foundational core of Siri is going to be Gemini, or at least Apple is working with Google and Gemini to make Siri smarter, but also they're going to potentially allow you to swap things out for different basically knowledge bases or like brain. So you could maybe go with ChatGPT, or you could go with Claude and Anthropic, or whatever you wanted to, hopefully relatively easily, basically making Siri better. Now again, stop me if you've heard this before, but if iOS 27 really is this small of an update, and really if Apple really is planning on Apple Intelligence finally being good, then that's going to mean that it's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting, and that it has to be perfect to make the iPhone 18 lineup successful when we see it later on this fall. Speaking of which, what exactly are we going to see this fall? Well, if you were hoping for a new iPhone 18 or an all-new iPhone Air version 2, those are not coming. Apple actually is doing a split launch this year where we're gonna see Pro phones and the folding phone in the fall, and then the spring will be reserved for the iPhone 18 base models, the new version of the SE equivalent. We're also hearing that the Air version 2 will be there, and then maybe there have been some crazy leaks recently about Apple bringing back a Plus model. So we'll see if that actually happens or not, but all those base models will be later on in 2027. As for 2026, you're gonna have to be interested in the Pro phones because that is all we're going to see. And I think a lot of people were really hoping that, you know, a new CEO coming in, Apple's gonna get more wild and daring and bold with the designs. And we had heard some rumors about the hole punch going away and getting a totally notchless, hole punchless phone. And that, unfortunately, is not what we're getting. We even thought that maybe the hole punch could move to the corner, kind of like a Samsung phone, but maybe Apple thought that looked too Android, and that's not what they're doing. Basically, the dynamic island will live to see another year, but it's gonna be a little bit smaller, and we've seen some alleged leaked photos, and we're talking a very minor difference with the smaller notch on the 18 Pro and Pro Max. And while there will be some new colors, so at least Apple's throwing a splash of color in there, it really is going to be basically the same design as the 16 series and the 17 series. And really, if you go back further, not a whole lot is changing. Action button will be there, physical volume buttons, USB-C, at least they're not going portless, but they're not going to be getting wild with any physical changes to the phone. It's going to be basically the same with a slightly smaller cutout. And obviously, with all that said, it's no surprise that one of the pillars of the iPhone for 2026 is going to be AI and intelligence. And when that stuff is done right, it can really supercharge even the most mundane tasks like email, for example, which is why if you're looking for an email client that is packed with smarts, then you should go with Superhuman Mail. The first thing I love is that it brings a method to the madness, an order to the chaos that is my inbox, automatically labeling things as they come in. And then what I really love and use all the time is the Ask AI feature. Basically, instead of scrolling through messages and searching and trying to find things, you just ask the AI, like, hey, what's the update on that project or that thread, or what time is my next flight coming up? And it'll go through and like intelligently and quickly pull out the exact answer you need right from within your inbox in a really, really cool way. I also love that you can kind of use AI to work for you. So for example, there's an auto drafts feature built in that learns the way you compose and craft your emails and matches your style, and then also can automatically draft replies for things that might need your attention. So like scheduling a meeting or following up on something, it'll automatically draft it for you so you can review it, tap it, and send it if it looks good. So stop chasing the next quick AI hack and start using a system that is really going to help email feel so much less overwhelming. Link is going to be down below in the description, or head to superhuman.com/tack to get 1 month of Superhuman Mail for free. Or again, head to superhuman.com/tack. Now, of course, if you do want something a lot more wild, that is going to be the iPhone Fold or the iPhone Ultra. That is the folding phone. We're hearing it's going to basically combine DNA of the iPhone 18 Pro and the iPhone Air together to kind of give you this brand new design with 2 cameras on the outside. You've got a couple of hole punches on the display. There will not be Face ID, only Touch ID on this folding phone, which definitely is going to be a bit of an adjustment to get used to. Kind of going back to pre-Face ID is a little weird, but this is definitely going to be the most unique and ambitious phone we've seen from Apple in quite some time. But do keep in mind that because this is the first generation, it's going to be a bit quirky when it comes to hardware and battery life. App optimization is going to be interesting to see how they can do this. And then, of course, one of the big elephants in the room is going to be price, because we're hearing right now, and especially what we heard from the earnings call, suggests that this iPhone lineup for this year is really not going to be cheap. In fact, Apple's getting a little lucky here, because with this all-new iPhone, they're kind of putting a whole new category into the lineup, which means there's no precedent for price, so they can basically charge anything. So we're hearing that $2,000 could easily be the floor for this phone, and it could go up to $2,300, $2,400, $2,500. And then for the 18 Pro and Pro Max, what we might not see is a straight-up price increase, but what we have seen, in fact, we just saw this a couple of days ago with the Mac Mini, is that Apple just stopped selling the base configuration version of it, and then kind of by doing that, they indirectly raise the price of the starting model. So instead of the iPhone 18 Pro starting at $999 or $1099, it could easily bump up to $1199 or $1299, and Apple would argue that, oh, well, instead of getting the base storage, you get double, which is fine, and technically, yes, that's true, but also Apple is making more off of that. We've heard there's a lot of supply chain issues and, RAM shortages and chip shortages and things like that, which is driving up the price. And one of the ways Apple might try to save face is not by slapping on a price increase, but just quietly trying to remove a trim and then bumping everything up from there, which kind of is maybe better than nothing, but still something to definitely keep in mind. And then there was also a wild rumor that Apple could be looking to remove MagSafe from the phones. Now, this could not be related to cost. We don't really know. There really wasn't a clear explanation in the rumor as to why Apple would do this. All we know is that when they didn't include MagSafe on the SE, a lot of people got mad, so they eventually brought it back. And I think MagSafe is just a nice feature. I don't know why they would remove it, but Apple is definitely looking to cut down on costs where they can and save on money. So if we maybe were going to get a little bit more of an ambitious iPhone 18 and maybe a a more modern iPhone 18e with a dynamic island, looks like that might not be happening this year. So curious for you guys, couple of things here. Are you excited about iOS 27, even if it's a smaller update? Are you in or are you out? Let me know your thoughts down below. And then kind of your thoughts on the iPhone lineup as it stands. Are new colors enough to get you excited for the 18 Pro series? Are you willing to pay more to get more storage? Drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks guys so much for watching. I am Robert Rosenfeld from TAC, and I'll see you guys in the next one.